got started cranking on the other side, and next thing you know, it was off. So I ended up using a deeper, nut was still stuck in there, a deeper wall socket on the inside. And these are 3/4 on here, at least on my car. And you gotta get one inside the frame rail and one outside of this cross member. They weren't really that tight. I mean, they were tight, but they weren't bad, like stuck. Of course, there's so much grease on all that stuff. Nothing's rusted. Boy, let me try to break it loose with this one. I just don't want to smash my knuckles. Okay, at the very least now, it's spinning in the beam. Other one came off super easy. Wish I'd have filmed that one. And mostly just dirt. So what I'm having to do now is I gotta run all that dirt through the nut. The threads are dirty on the end. I'm gonna pull all that back through that nut. That's off. Let's get the other one now. It's way, you're not going to be able to see this one. It's way over here on the frame rail on this side. I got the nuts off there. Now it's just a matter of pulling the bolts out. They really don't come out very hard. At least the other one didn't. Seriously, the other one came out so easy. Both bolts pulled right out, no problem. When I'm not filming, it comes out easy. When I'm filming, it's great. You probably can't see anything I'm doing back here, but I got a bolt part way out and she just won't. There we go. And the only thing holding it in now is going to be the rubber grommets. It'll be wedged in there just a little bit. And there you go. Wiggle them out of there. Alright, let's see if I can get you a good view of how to get the lower ball joint out. It's just pressed in there. And what worked for me, stood it up in my vise. I already got the other one out. Let's see if this one behaves. This seems a little precarious, but you're only going to hit it one time each and then readjust. You don't want to take a chance of this thing flying out of here. Okay, so just give this as big a wallop as you can, and with any luck, she'll come right out. And the back side of this is above the jaw, so I'm not clamped on that, I'm just clamped on the tip. This is round, so yeah. So I've got a 3-pound sledge here, and I'm gonna give her all I can with one shot. Ready? Here we go. Ha! Might help if I hit it. There we go. 2 hits, she's out. I was banging on it earlier, couldn't get it to move. I put some penetrating oil on there, and then I tried to come up with a way to set it in here, and sure enough, that worked perfect. All right. Now, how am I going to get that out of there? Oh yeah, she came right loose. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this end. Oh, being right-handed, only right-handed, kind of stinks. Wish I was ambidextrous. Well, this one's all the way out. Maybe I just pop it out that way then. There. Was I thinking back upwards? I was. Oh my gosh, it was already loose. Okay, now I just gotta get that knocked out of there, which should be a little bit easier to do now. Okay, we're gonna try this. This whole thing comes out, not just this, so I'm hoping, now that I have a good grip on it, just a matter of figuring out how to get it out of there. Alright, next. Alright, so I was pounding it back and forth a little bit. I can take this off of here now. But I had this nut on here protecting the threads. These threads are very fragile on these. So don't be surprised if you have to buy a new shaft if your threads strip out when you take it apart. A lot of people have commented that that was what they ended up with. By the time they got the nut off, they didn't have any good threads anymore. So, okay, so I don't know if you can tell here, but so this outer piece stays on there. There is a ridge. You can see it better on this one. There's a ridge on here that stays on that's part of the upper A-arm. So we need to pound this out. This is actually the bushing that goes inside. So if you get lucky and you can hold on to it well enough, you can pound it out of there. There's all kinds of pullers and stuff you can make as well. This has been working the best for me. Worked on my other one and it's working on this one, so this has worked out okay. Hopefully I can get it the rest of the way out now. If my vise doesn't come off the bench. I've got to find a better bench to put this vise on. There we go. This was easy, anybody could do it. God. All right, let's see if I can get this out of here now. vise keeps moving. You definitely have to have a well-anchored vise. Otherwise, this is not going to work very well. And my vise is not very well anchored right anymore. It's coming. Alright, hope you saw that. Never to be seen again behind the freezer. Okay, we'll get this nut off of here. Once you get the one out, you can take the shaft out completely. I'll back the focus up, back up. Okay, let's take this nut off of here. Now this whole thing will come off. Well, if it wasn't stuck in the vise. This whole thing will come out now. That'll come out. Now we just have to get this one out. This one's a lot easier to get out. Now, should be able just to hammer down on this right here. Because now I don't have the shaft in the way. Should be able just to hammer on it about right there. Got it just tight enough so it's not clamping, but kind of hold it in place. Easy peasy. I'm going to grab my other hammer. I don't know where my ball peen hammer went off to. There we go. It was barely in there anyway. Okay, so done. Now it's just time to clean these up and then get them ready to put all the bushings back in. I'm going to clean them up. I'm going to fix all these spots that have big dings in them. Could have been from me. Could have been from using a floor jack on them. Anything that has a bad spot, I'm going to clean up, grind, and then paint these really, really nice. I'm going to check. You want to check your holes. Okay, so these are the rivets. And I wasn't joking when I said these ball joints are 53 years old. They really were. I checked on it. Unless these came from the factory as new, maybe they were a replacement. That's the only time they would have, that is the only time that they would have rivets in them. So I got to check the bolts. Let's do that real quick. So here's a replacement ball joint that goes right in there. Ta-da, just like that, okay? But let's find out if those bolt holes are big enough. What did they give us? Actually, it looks like they are. A couple of the guys warned, depending on the kit that you get, that the bolt holes, you might have to enlarge the holes for the bolts a little bit. Okay. And looks like there's washers and everything. Okay. And the holes all line up. Again, I've got to clean this up. This is it's pretty beat up in here. There's dirt in here that won't even sit flat. So I'll get this all cleaned up. But these bolts, they fit. And all the holes line up. It comes with the grease zerk. So I've got to put that in there. I'll get him in there properly. I'll probably put a little bit of tape on him or sealer. Get him in there. All these bolts do line up. I'll put the washers on there when I do put it together, but they line up and they're big enough. So that's gonna be perfect. These are nylocs, so they won't come undone. That was actually a really nice set that I got. It's pretty basic. One of the things I didn't mention when I signed off the other day, this is all one video for you, but when I signed off the other day, I found out that I had to order some more parts, and I'll show you here what I mean on the lower control arm real quick. So apparently 68 through 72, one side has a round bushing on the lower control arm. The other side may or may not be round. Apparently there's a very desirable C casting, the letter C, that these are both round. If they are not, or if the car might have come with originals, but if they ever got replaced, they would have come with these ovals on one side. So a lot of times the standard rebuild kits will not come with the oval bushings. There'll be one on each arm on the rear side of the trailing arm, or the rear side of the A-arm. And it's just a lower A-arm. So may or may not come to the factory with both round, but the replacements and later ones, I think from 70 on, I could be mistaken, they came with the oval. So when I got mine, I got my replacement, my rebuild kit, and it had just round ones in there. So I had to order the oval one special, no big deal. Easiest way to get this one out, and you don't want to damage this at all, this is all one piece. This does not, oops. So on this oval one, this is all one piece here. You don't want to damage this part. Do not knock this out, okay? That does not get replaced. Just the rubber part on the inside. So when you press this up, be real careful. Actually, they recommended just drill out the rubber, get the centerpiece out of here, but don't damage this. This does not come in the rebuild kit. The rebuild kit is only the rubber with the shaft on the inside. The other ones, this comes out all as one piece, and you can see there's a lip right here. That should stay in the casting, if I'm not mistaken, much like it did on those on the outside. But that does come out. But this one, do not damage this one thinking, oh, I'll just cut that out of there. No, that center part does not come with it. Just that metal part of the center doesn't come with it, just the rubber. So something to be aware of. I saw in another video, because I got mine apart and I'm like, wait, now I'm missing these oval bushings. And then I figured out why, that of course, they're not all the same. I mean, they make these cars over several years, use the parts for several bodies. So that's what you end up with. The other thing after inspecting these, my control link for the sway bar control link, where that goes in, I don't know if you can see this on here. Let me zoom you in a little bit. Zoom, 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 zoom. You can see here, this is rounded out pretty good on the upper part of this here. She's not round, she's wore out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test fit the piece in there, and if I don't like the way it fits, if it doesn't feel like it's contacting the whole, as much as I'd like, I'll bring it into a shop or have a friend weld that shut, and then I'll put some additional material there, grind it down, and then we'll re-drill it so that it's a nice tight fit. And I saw that wear, that damage on both of the control arms. So that's very typical to find. The other thing is, make sure your drain hole isn't plugged. This lets water drain out, especially in the lower control arm. Make sure your shock mount holes are good. All that little stuff. Make sure that's in good shape. I'm going to clean this all up. It's going to take me a while to get it cleaned up. I'm waiting on some parts. Probably not going to show all that. What I am going to start working on now is I'm going to start pulling my hubs apart. Actually, you know what? Let's get these bushings out of here first. Let's get the rest of these bushings out. Then I'm going to work on my hubs and do my bearings and stuff on the hubs while they're off the car. So the other one on the floor, I already got the rubber piece out. I was able to drive the centerpiece out pretty easily on the oval end. Yeah, so the oval end seems to pop out pretty easy. That just came right out. Sorry you couldn't see that, but you probably saw the part fall. But that came out of there pretty easily. Now it's just a matter of getting this piece Now it's just a matter of getting this piece out of the arm. And I just dug it out on the other one. It was a little kind of melted in there on one spot, but for the most part, it just came right out. It came out in chunks. I mean, it's 53 years old. None of this has ever been reconditioned or rebuilt to my knowledge. Like I say, I definitely had 53-year-old joints in there because they were riveted in. Yeah, just dig that out of there. There we go. Big old chunk just came right out. There we go. Hardly anything left at all to sand. That big old chunks out of there. Again, you don't want to damage this metal part when you order the new bushings for these ovals. It does not come with that metal piece. Okay, so do not destroy that. These, if you want to cut these in half, you won't hurt a thing. And that's what a lot of guys do. They'll just cut these. Makes it easier getting them out. You crush them down, they pop out. I had good luck pounding the other one out. Or no, the other on the uppers. Lowers, I haven't done this one yet. So we'll see how we'll see how much I have to beat on this thing before we get to getting this guy out of here. All right, I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to collapse this down. Don't hit this edge. That's part of the arm. But if you hit this, if I can collapse that down, this thing should break the rust loose and it should let go. So let me get this. I think I'm just going to lay it across the vise over here. Give her some good wallops with the hammer and chisel, and we'll see what happens. Let's see if that loosens it up at all. I see some daylight in there now. That's all it took. That's all it took. Just a little bit of that and she's coming out already. She is coming out. She's loose. Get you back over here on the vise a little bit better. A little bit higher. Here we go. So that's all it took. Let me go get my ball peen hammer. I gotta find that thing. All right. Whoopsie. Again, we're gonna hit me on the edge. There we go. All right, she's coming out. Sometimes the hardest part is just figuring out how to hold on to stuff. A little anger never hurt. I don't have anger issues. coming apart pretty good. Definitely had things come apart worse than that. Again, it's mostly figuring out the angles. You should have something in here, but I'm really not worried about it. I'm going to have these things welded and straightened anyway, so. Done. I think I'm going to call that a day for this video. I want to make sure I got some content out this week. Would have liked to gotten a little bit more done this weekend. I'll probably, you know, obviously I'll do more after I turn this off so I can get this this video published. It's just a lot of work. Doing all this stuff myself. I got to get all this cleaned out, cleaned up, so the parts will go back on there. But I verified my ball joints do fit. I'll get those other parts ordered. I've got the, like I said, I got the oval ones on the way. I've got the correct sway bar brackets coming. Everything I ordered was the wrong one, or I tried to buy locally, I mean, was the wrong one. I seem to be having better luck online than I am locally, unfortunately. So anyway, that's it for this week. Thanks everybody for following along. Share with your friends. I really appreciate it. I had 80-some views on the last video already in a week. Doesn't sound like much, but I got a small channel just starting out. So please spread the word. I hope this information helped. Probably not very entertaining, seeing me beat on a bunch of stuff to get it apart, but that's part of the process of rebuilding these old things. Especially if you don't want to throw a lot of money at it and buy all new parts, you've got to go through and clean up things. You've got to go through and fix damage like this on here from me beating on it, or from a floor jack, or whatever the case might be. You've got to go through, clean all that up, inspect it, make sure that they're good. So yeah, appreciate everybody's patience. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day. See you in the next video.